The crossover. Taking a bunch of things you love and putting them all in one place. I've always been fascinated by them, especially in the Disney realm. With all of the colorful characters in the Disney library, it's a lot of fun to imagine what it would be like if they met or interacted. However, there aren't too many in the world of film and television. Let's see, there's House of Mouse, Wreck-It Ralph 2, Mickey's Christmas Carol, Sophia the First, those Lilo and Stitch trailers. I think I've made my point. However, there is one place where you consistently see Disney characters interacting with each other. The parks. You see them together in castle shows, during the nighttime spectaculars, and even in some of the attractions. And today we'll be talking about one specific crossover. Mickey's PhilharMagic. This 3D show has been entertaining guests at the Magic Kingdom for nearly 18 years, giving new takes on classic animated films, and being a fun way to sit down and relax during a hectic day at the park. But have you ever wondered what went into this attraction? Well, we invite you to relax and pull up a chair as we learn about it together. Since the Magic Kingdom opened, Fantasyland hasn't changed that much. Many of the attractions that were there on opening day are still there, and it only gains and loses attractions infrequently, especially when compared to other areas of the parks. The biggest changes come in expansions, like New Fantasyland. However, there is one space that has continuously changed. Right next to Peter Pan's flight, and across from the Pinocchio Village House, there is a theater that receives new attractions at least once every decade. When the park opened, the space was home to the Mickey Mouse Revue, an audio and animatronic show featuring many Disney characters. Think like the Tiki Room or the Country Bear Jamboree. It played in the park until it closed in 1980. To learn more about Mickey Mouse Revue, please check out my video on Grand Fiesta Tour. The show building sat empty until 1987, when it was converted into a more traditional movie theater. Magic Journeys would be the first film to play here. It was an opening day attraction at Epcot, playing in the Magic Eye Theater at the Imagination Pavilion. It was moved to the Magic Kingdom in order to make way for Captain EO. The film was accompanied by the Donald Duck short Working for Peanuts, which was also meant to be shown in 3D. It played in the Magic Kingdom until 1993, making way for The Legend of the Lion King. For the new show, the theater was converted to a more traditional stage. Legend of the Lion King retold the story from the film utilizing large-scale puppets. The Mufasa puppet was measured to be 7 feet long and 6 feet tall, and the Pride Rock set was over 18 feet high. The show played in Fantasyland until it closed in 2002. Perhaps because someone noticed that there was another Lion King show playing at Disney World, making this one a little redundant. When it came time to replace the show, Imagineers had something a little different in mind. A show retelling moments from classic Disney animated films. It would be a collaboration between Imagineering and Disney Animation Studios, the first time they had worked together in many years. But that wouldn't really be enough, would it? People could just pop on their VHSs and watch the movies from the comfort of their own home. It needed something special, some kind of gimmick that made it worth all the effort. And Imagineers had the perfect idea, an immersive cinema experience that made you feel like you were in the movie. From that moment on, the show had to be in 3D. 3D shows had been done in the park before, from the aforementioned Magic Journeys and Captain EO to other shows like Muppet Vision 3D. But those were pretty basic. Sure, there were some lasers and animatronics, but it was still pretty obvious that you were just sitting down and watching a movie. This new show would be entirely built around the 3D and be an immersive experience. Disney commissioned the largest 3D screen ever built at the time, 150 feet long and 28 feet tall. The screen is almost 180 degrees, composing your entire sightline. And unlike the Circle Vision shows of the time, it was entirely seamless. Plus, you wouldn't get dizzy from having to spin around to see the whole picture. To add on to the immersion, they implemented 4D technology, little gimmicks to match what you're seeing on the screen. That would mean pumping out pie scents during Be Our Guest, or throwing water during Sorcerer's Apprentice. All that's well and good, but how are we going to stitch all these different scenes together? They came up with a framing device, centered on Donald Duck being thrust into different movies through magical musical instruments. Alex Mann, character designer for a Goofy movie and story artist for Treasure Planet, penned the show script, putting all of the iconic moments together in one cohesive story. To help complement the 3D better, the show would be CG animated. For many of the characters, this would be the first time they'd ever been animated this way. Veteran character designers were brought back to help out with translating the 2D characters into 3D models. Glenn Keane helped with Ariel and the rest of the Little Mermaid characters. Nick Ranieri did the same with Lumiere, and so on and so forth. All of the living voice actors returned to reprise their roles, while audios from films were used for the sung portions. The film was directed by George Scribner, who also directed Oliver and Company and Prince and the Pauper, and took 3 years to complete. Mickey's PhilharMagic opened at the Magic Kingdom in October of 2003. It would later be brought to Hong Kong Disneyland, Tokyo Disneyland, Disneyland Paris, and Disney's California Adventure, making it one of the few attractions to be exported to every Disney theme park resort. Minus Shanghai.
When the Disney characters you love come together, it's magic. But when they come together with classic music and movie moments you adore, it's PhilharMagic. And the best part? You'll be swept up in the middle of it all. It's a 3D symphony of fun for everyone. Mickey's PhilharMagic, new in the Magic Kingdom Park.
Guests enter the Fantasyland concert hall, making their way through the attractions queue. The performance today is Maestro Mickey Mouse and the PhilharMagic Orchestra. On the walls of the queue, there are posters advertising upcoming performances. These include Ariel's Choral Group, the Wolfgang Trio, Genie Sings the Blues, the Three Caballeros and Festival de los Mariachis, Haley Sings Torch Songs, An Evening with Wheezy, and Pagliacci starring Willie the Whale. As they walk through the queue and into the lobby, instrumental music from various Disney films can be heard. Upon reaching the lobby, guests grab the opera glasses, which are just the standard Disney 3D glasses. When the doors open, guests move all the way down the row, filling in every available seat. Goofy can be heard over the speakers, trying to find Donald and get everything ready for the performance. It goes as well as you'd expect.
How'd that get unplugged? We'll just plug it back in. That's better.
Once everyone is seated, the house lights dim and Minnie instructs everyone to put on their opera glasses so the show can begin. However, she quickly realizes that Donald is missing. He's already on stage, asleep. Mickey runs on and puts his sheet music and the sorcerer's hat on the podium. He wakes Donald up and gives him 2 instructions. Set up the orchestra, and don't touch his hat. Donald proceeds to touch the hat. He puts it on, giving him full control of the orchestra. He tries to conduct, but it fails. A piccolo comes up to annoy him, and he retaliates, causing the rest of the instruments to descend on him. The chaos creates a whirlwind, and the hat is lost, and he's sucked into darkness. When Donald reappears, he's greeted by Lumiere, finding himself in the middle of Be Our Guest. He tries to grab the hat, but the song ends before he's able to. The walking broomsticks from Fantasia come in afterwards to clean up the mess, while Sorcerer's Apprentice plays. Donald is drenched in water until he finally takes a bucket away from one of the little brooms. He taunts it until a bigger one comes in and floods the screen, washing him away. The flood takes us downwards better, downwards wetter. Flounder says hi to the audience before Ariel swims into frame, and she sings Part of Your World. Donald tries to take the hat but gets distracted by her as she shows off her collection. Before he can kiss her, he's electrocuted by Neil and swims towards the surface. The sunlight in the grotto fades into the sunlight of the African savannah, bringing us into The Lion King. Simba sings I Can't Wait to Be King, while the colorful animals seen in the film dance around him. And poor Donald is just caught in the chaos trying to get the hat. The song ends in a puff of smoke, and the hat flies off into the night sky. Tinkerbell flies into frame and motions for us to follow her. We fly over London as Peter Pan, Tank, the Hat, and Donald land on Big Ben. Before Donald can fall to the ground to his presumable death, he's given a bit of pixie dust and flies off into the night sky with them. They go over the clouds where Aladdin and Jasmine are on a magic carpet together. A whole new world begins as the hat lands on the carpet. They take off faster in the air while Donald trails behind him on his own carpet, crashing through everything in the streets of Agrabah. By the end of the song, he catches up and Jasmine gives him the hat. Donald breathes a sigh of relief before Iago swoops down and knocks it off his head. He dives down to catch it and is caught in another whirlwind of smoke and instruments. Mickey grabs the hat just in the nick of time and calms everything down while Sorcerer's Apprentice plays again. Donald sheepishly gives the baton back to him and is knocked into a tuba. Mickey conducts the orchestra to play the last notes of the Mickey Mouse March, and Donald is set flying across the theater into the back wall. The curtain falls, and Donald falls into the wall. The doors open, guests drop off their opera glasses, and head back into Fantasyland, passing by a gift shop along the way. Here are a few other facts you might not know about the attraction. At the time of its production, the Agrabah set was the biggest CG model set ever constructed. When the show first descends into chaos, the orchestra is playing a sinister version of the Mickey Mouse March. And it's kind of hilarious. Lumiere's lines are a mix of the original film and new dialogue. The most notable of this is the last chorus, where Donald is addressed as Sir. This was one of the last times Jerry Orbach played Lumiere. He would pass away a year after the attraction opened. Have you ever noticed that Donald's dialogue sounds different than the other characters? Like it came from another source? That's because it did. With the exception of a few lines, all of them were sampled from old Donald Duck cartoons, where Clarence Nash was still providing the voice. Tony Anselmo, Donald's current voice, did provide some new dialogue when nothing else fit. Disney Animation would perfect this sampling technique with the cartoon Get a Horse in 2013. Mickey's PhilharMagic is one of the best shows Disney has ever produced. It's a loving tribute to some of Disney's best films while being a fun and immersive show for the whole family. However, questions remain about the show's future. While the films featured are still relevant, there have been many other classic films that have been released in the year since it opened. And while I think the CGI holds up just fine, computer animation has come a long way since 2003. Perhaps one day we'll see a revamp of PhilharMagic, with newer films, characters, and animation. Or maybe we'll see an entirely different kind of show play in the theater, like has happened so many times before. I'm not sure how much longer PhilharMagic has until it closes, but it has better legs than most Disney attractions. 18 years later, and it's still as fun as it's ever been. And that concludes the video. Now I'll pass the question off to you. What do you think of PhilharMagic? What's your favorite show that's played in this theater? Do you think it'll ever get updated? If so, what would you like to see be added? Whatever you're thinking, let me know down in the comments. But that's all the time I've got for today. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.